We messed up, didn't we, Henry Blanchard?
At least one of us messed up.
The world is weird.
Welcome to
Talk Worky to Me.
Huge mistakes.
Huge error has occurred. We missed a week.
Missed a week of the pod.
Missed a week. How does that feel?
Well, for me, I was like, well, this doesn't matter because it's inconsequential. This is basically people are joining us on our date mornings. But someone messaged me.
Someone you don't know as well.
Someone I don't know messaged me on Instagram and said, I really missed the podcast this week. Please tell me it's coming back.
And here it is.
And here it is.
Okay.
We just buggered the schedule, didn't we, my love?
We did bugger the schedule. So we do it in, you could call them small batches, like some sort of artisanal sourdough at your bougie Kensington High Street store. Small batch preparation, small batch cooking. So we do them in very small batches. And we just forgot to book the podcast studio.
But here we are.
But here we are back with a bang, with a vengeance to the future.
With a Greg's coffee.
Greg's coffee.
I like a Greg's.
I like the Greg's
For
too.
anyone not in the UK, Greg's is like, what's maybe a like Dunkin' Donuts.
It's like Dunkin' Donuts.
It's like savoury Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh my God, it is.
Like savoury Dunkin' Donuts. But it's cheap and cheerful, and it's a Northeast based business, I believe. And unlike Starbucks, they actually pay tax in the UK.
They do pay
so
their
I'm very
tax.
pro Greg's.
Yeah, they're a big employer in Newcastle,
Yes.
I think.
Thank you for naming a place in the Northeast.
I've been
Good.
there once or twice.
I actually don't think it's Northeast. I don't think it's Newcastle.
Oh, is it Middlesbrough
I
or
think
Sunderland?
it's Middlesbrough. I think it's anyway. Someone
I'm
let us
naming
know.
other places in the
Yeah,
Northeast.
I've got my phone out just to do a bit of texting. No,
Fantastic.
Oh yeah, I'm going to introduce you now. This is it. We're a bit rusty. That's nice.
That's nice.
This is Henry Blanchard. He is an expert in AI, how you start businesses. He's trained hundreds of founders to pitch for investment. He's worked with lots of unis. He's very interested in the future and technology, and it's probably fair to say that he's an optimist. And he also beat the Eggheads. Kind of.
Don't come at me with kind of. I've got a winner's check from the BBC.
Explain what the Eggheads is.
So Eggheads is like, I'm going to reveal myself here. It's like Mastermind
Yeah.
or
Okay, yeah.
Jeopardy
Mm.
for the US listeners.
Yeah.
It's a TV game show where you answer questions against the nation's greatest quiz team.
Yeah, like phenomenally smart people.
Phenomenally smart people. And we won.
Yeah, but it's rounds. I think we have to say that each individual does a round. So your team won, which
Our
is
team won.
actually genuinely very impressive
Yeah.
because winning is phenomenally rare.
Phenomenally rare.
Phenomenally rare. Were you, as an individual, on that winning team?
I contributed to the team winning.
Okay, yeah,
I was there.
you were there.
I was a hot, warm body. And we won everything. So I lost my individual round,
Okay.
but I did a history round against the guy that had literally never lost a round ever in anything.
Wait, so did you pick, so there's like,
I
is his
picked the
name
hard guy.
Chris?
Graham.
Graham, okay, so
Yeah.
he's like really
Mega
phenomenally.
nerd. More of a nerd than even me.
Even you, he never loses.
Never.
And you were like, I'm going to go up against this guy.
I'll take that lad on. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take one for the team.
Give me the confidence of the straight white man, please.
So he got all of his questions right, and I got
All of my questions wrong.
most of my questions right.
There's only 3 questions.
Well,
Henry.
there was a question about like which year was the British witchcraft law repealed, and it was like 1917, 1918, 1919. What am I meant to do with that?
Know it.
Just be better. Just be better. But nonetheless, so one Eggheads. And then when Claude was putting together was redesigning my personal website, it like fished this bit of deep lore out on the internet and put it in my bio. And again, top tip, I didn't massively proofread my bio. And then we did a session with a big business a few weeks ago. And they pulled that out of my bio. I was like, oh, and this is Henry. He's a BBC Eggheads winner. And everyone's like, come on.
Yeah, it made
Behave.
you look like that was like your proudest
Yeah, like I
achievement.
led with that. And perhaps it is my proudest achievement.
Perhaps it is.
Getting 3 questions wrong on national TV. Have you been on
Didn't
national TV?
the person who was on your Eggheads team also go on The Chase, and someone on the internet called him thick as mince?
Thick as mince, yes.
Fantastic.
Yes. Tom Hayward, whose wedding we were at, whose beautiful wedding.
Beautiful wedding.
Tom and Amy were at just a week ago.
It was such a beautiful wedding, and Amy looked smoking.
Yeah, she did.
Like, really?
She did. I'm sort of obliged as his mate to say Tom also looked smoking.
Fine.
Moving on. This is Kirsty Hulse. She founded a digital agency in 2016 and immediately flew to New York, buoyed by the success of it. Her first client was Virgin Atlantic, and buoyed by the success she was having, she was like, I'm going to go to New York. I need to crack the US. Like the Beatles or Robbie Williams after their debut albums, deciding she needed to crack the US. So just went and lived in New York for 4 months doing digital agency things.
Well, I'd already started the business and we'd got clients, and it was the first time in my life I'd worked for myself. So I think it was less, I don't think I was like, oh my God, I'm going to run a business in New York. I think it was, I can go wherever I want. I'm going to go to New York. Because I'd previously had like a job that I had to be in.
You had to like turn up to their offices daily.
So that was good. We were talking about that last night, weren't we?
You going to New York?
Because I had a friend that used to live in New York.
Oh, yeah.
And one year, this was New Year's Eve, she texted me, and it was her night before. I think she was up late on like the 30th.
Yeah.
She texted me and she was like, what are you doing for New Year's Eve? And this is morning in London. And I was like, no plans. And she said, come to New York. And I got an Uber to the airport. And in the Uber to the airport, I booked a flight. And I used to travel around like it was popping to the shops. And you asked me, do you miss that? Do you miss that kind of... I still travel a lot, but not in the way that I used to. Like I flew to Portland on the west coast of the US, which is like a 9-hour flight?
Longer, yeah.
For a day. And it's not a flex. Like it's not good for the environment.
You've got to get that Dunkin' Donuts.
You've got to get that Dunkin' Donuts. And you said, do you miss it? And I was like, that's just kind of like asking me if I miss being young. It was part of my 20s, just, doing a lot of like adventuring and traveling around. Shall we do our audience questions? Oh, go on.
I was going to say on that.
Please.
So let's not do audience questions. You go back and like finish that thought.
Well, that is my thought, I think. That it's that as you get older, me at least, time moves differently.
Does it? In like the Einstein kind of definition of time, or your perception of time?
Well, as in like, we're thinking, so New York, I've got New York on my mind at the moment. I've been thinking about going back to New York, doing some networking in New York, get a bit more business. I used to get a lot of business in the US because I used to spend so much time there. But since the pandemic, I've still got clients in the US, but way less. And I want to be going to get those dollars, those NASDAQ dollars. So I've been thinking about New York, and and also I've got points. I've got Avios points to use, so I can go to New York for free. And I was like, oh,
other airline loyalty programs are available.
And you've never been. Never been to New York. So I was like, let's go to New York. And I was thinking, and I was like, well, I can't go on that weekend because I've got a 40th birthday and I can't go then because I've got this. And it just feels different when you get, before I would go to New York because my friend texted me and I would get an Uber. Whereas now I feel like there's a few more like commitments, and there's no reason I can't go to New York this afternoon. I could go this afternoon.
You could go this afternoon.
I could literally
Put down
go
your
this
Greggs.
Put down your Greggs.
We're right next to Birmingham International.
I could go now.
You could go now.
But I wouldn't, because I've just got me rhythms and me routines.
You've got your
my gym.
You got your bedside table with all your lady items on. And you like it.
We change, I think, as we get older. I think, I was reading a book, and in the book it said a good life is 2 parts contentment, 1 part desire. And I think I've got that mix, like 2 parts very happy day to day in our home that I love, and then like 1 little part of like striving, desire, what else is there? But when I was 25, it was 3 parts desire.
Or is it pure? 100%.
Just 100% more, gimme. I'll go to New York. I'll go. And honestly, Henry, I just have more energy then. I just have more energy.
You do when
I
you're
don't
young?
have much energy. I haven't got much energy.
No, look at you. Lethargy over there.
Very lethargic.
You
Let's
three-
do these. We've got podcasts to do, Henry.
I've got comments to make on this. I've got observations.
Okay.
So one, travel post-pandemic.
Mm.
Less. Boring. We don't need to talk about that. Two, US money.
Mm.
So study came out, I think, on Friday, so like 2 days before people listen to this pod. Yeah, fresh by the FT. FT have an incredible data visualization person called John Burns Murdoch, I think his name is, and they've got an incredible data viz team, and they do loads and loads of really cool studies. And one of the things that they're doing is talking about the skills gap in the UK. So a lot of people now, particularly with the new prime minister, are coming and saying, UK people are underskilled, they're not prepared for the world of work. But actually, our education system is one of the best in the world in the UK, and people are very skilled when they come out of education compared to the global average. But it's the lack of opportunity in the UK. So this study basically compared if you're functionally illiterate in the US, the average wage versus what the average wage of like a graduate or a highly skilled person in the UK is. And the result was basically like, it's better to be illiterate in the US.
Whoa, hold up. This intuitively does not feel true to me. The US is a tough place to be.
Yes, and like average salaries are so much higher.
Right.
So it's not maybe comparing like purchasing power, maybe a Big Mac costs different in the US, the UK, but it's saying just as a headline figure, you'll see these adverts go around. Sometimes people share ads for like US job ads. So there's this kind of service station company called Buc-ee's in America. And as an assistant manager at Buc-ee's, like you graduate from working on the tills where you're making sort of $80,000 a year to an assistant manager on like $120,000, $130,000 a year of what's essentially like a petrol station in the UK. So all these kind of job comparisons of what a job earns in the US, the UK is like 2-3 times more in the US. So that is where I'm going with this. So going and getting the US money, do you think it's better for people to, if you can, maybe if you're more freelance, if you're like running an agency, is it better to look for American clients and service them remotely? Or is it better to stay with local, more accessible clients in the UK?
I think a hard rule of business is do the path of least resistance. And often the path of least resistance when you're building a business is network, the people you already know.
Yeah.
So the chances are your network's going to be local. And, even for me, I've got a really solid network. I've got years of experience under my belt. I'm good. People know that I'm good. Even for me at this level, like Kat Deely breaking into the US in the 90s, it's not going to be easy.
Or Samantha Mumba. She was in a remake of The Time Machine, and that was it.
Wow. Okay.
So, Kat Deely and Samantha Mumba.
Yeah. So I do want to go to New York and do a bit more networking in the US because I think it would be nice to. I also like working with lots of different cultures. I do a lot of work in Europe, and I feel it keeps me sharp working in lots of different cultures because I have to. It's weird. It's like I can go into a room in the UK and I'm very adaptable and I know it. Like I know the different rooms. I know. Whereas if I go to I don't know, if I'm training in Tokyo, I'm working with a business in Tokyo at the moment. Like I'm having to work because there's extra layers of like cultural considerations and body language cues and it just keeps me sharp. It's
you can't go in and make a joke about Coronation Street. It's not going to land.
It's not going to land. Or Samantha Mumba. And I'm not even sure if that did land.
Landed for me.
It landed for you. That's what's important. That's what's important. Yeah, so I like working in different cultures because it keeps me sharp. Keeps me it's like another thing for me to learn and challenge myself with because, the UK, I can do that. Like I can do, and also the US, but in the US, I have to be a bit more polished. Like I can't swear as much.
Don't like that.
No, and again, it's not bad, it's not good, it's just culturally different. I have to be a little more.
What was the title of your last book?
Don't swear at work and other bullshit.
Don't swear at work and other bullshit.
I have since realised that maybe that book didn't position me in the way that I perhaps want to be positioned.
Sweary dame from Stoke.
Yeah, I know, because it is important to me. You know, I have values around authenticity, and an authentic way of me communicating is sweary, because that's my mom. You know Val.
That swear jar is overflowing.
Yeah, you know Val. She swears like every third word. And
Yeah.
she's like a little old lady.
It's like a little punctuation,
Yeah.
staccato, ratata.
Yeah, and she's this like little, like an old lady just swearing constantly all the
Yeah.
time. Or like she uses all the words. The bad.
She uses all the words.
She-
Like people would learn new words in her vicinity. She's got words.
And she's not doing it to be like shocking. It's not a strategy. It's literally just how she talks.
Yeah.
And so it's literally how I talk. And so for a long time, I was stubbornly, this is me, this is who I am, I'm going to swear, and fuck you if you don't like that. And I like that I did that.
Yeah.
And I'll give myself a hug and a pat on the back for being that bold and belligerent.
Yeah.
And also, I've reached a point in my career where I want to make those big NASDAQ dollars or work globally. And because I want to do that, I've worked on a bit of polish lately. If anyone follows me on Instagram, like I've sharpened my image. I've done all of these things and I'm still me, but I've just gone, okay, there are some systems that I'm going to operate within. And so I'm just going to like dust a bit. And that's part of what I've been doing this year.
See what's behind the cushions, plump them up a bit.
Plump up them cushions.
Plump up the cushions. Plump those cushions up.
Plump the
with
cushions.
or without surgical assistance. Plump the cushions. So one more question, then
Yes.
promise we'll do audience
Then we'll
questions,
start the
'cause
actual
I see you
podcast.
itching for them. Sometimes now I do quite a lot of workshops, quite a lot of public speaking, and I sort of see how when I look at other people doing stuff and I can recognize their process, I'm like, oh, okay, I see how you like the sausage is made here. Do you find that now, looking at people who have larger social media followings, can you kind of look and see like, okay, I think you're being quite deliberate with your positioning here? I think what I'm really asking is, are people considered with what they put out online as they grow their following? Do you think people are aware of it, or are the majority like, this is just me, totally unpolished, unfiltered?
I think there's three things. First thing, success leaves cues. And clues is actually what I meant to say, but cues works too.
Cues works as well.
So I've always
Particularly if you're a snooker player. So it just came to me. It was 3 seconds too late, but I enjoyed it.
I loved it. I loved it.
You could start that bit again if you want.
But yeah, so success leaves. Why can't I say that?
Success leaves.
Success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. So you just did like a little hand draw thing. You always do something you forget we're being recorded.
That's right, I'm going to cut it.
I think it's good. We don't need to
gonna
get rid of the. I don't think we need to cut that. Yes, because it was perfect. Three things. I have always had someone a few steps ahead of me that I like, not copy, but model myself on. So there's a couple of speakers that I just think are amazing and inspiring, and I watch what they do, and I would go as far as to say study them. So for a long time it was Lisa Nichols, a phenomenal American speaker, motivational speaker, like OG.
Yeah, she's been doing it a while.
She's been doing it a long time. She was on The Secret, if anyone's watched that.
That film.
That film about manifesting and the law of
wow.
attraction from maybe the 90s.
Everyone had that book in like
Everyone had that book.
2006. It was on every bookshelf.
Yeah, if you've never read it, it's interesting and kind of inspiring. But I train with her, I watch what she's doing, and then Kendra Hall, who I spoke at a conference with in 2016. And I remember even then being inspired by how she carried herself. She is uniquely able, I think, to be really warm and funny and human, and also just phenomenally like competent and together. And so I always have people that I watch that are ahead of me. And I think we should all do that. And my hope, my actual hope, and I kind of know this is true, is that I am that for some other people. And I know that I am because often I will see a couple of times coaches have taken some of my like little bits, my little methods,
or like your catchphrases.
Wince and send
Yeah.
is something I invented, that if you're scared about doing something, you wince and you send it. And there's maybe 2 or 3 separate individuals I've seen like share that as their own. And it actually doesn't bother me. I would genuinely rather you remember my message and forget my name. And that, by the way, is Lisa Nichols. So it's nice. You know, I think people inspire each other, and I think it's okay to take inspiration. And that's what art is. Art is taking other ideas and developing them. So to answer your question, are people themselves or is it very polished? I think have people you watch. And I think the second thing, I think it depends how old you are. Stay with me. Social media used to be that social media. And so when I first started sharing on social media, it was a diary. It was very literally a, hi friends, here's what I've done today. Here's what I'm feeling today. Here's what I'm thinking today. Here's what I've eaten. And so historically, my content has been that. But social media is not social media anymore. It's algorithmic media. And now we create content for the algorithms rather than our friends. So I have, over the past year, the way I use social media has changed. I used to be much more, I would share a lot more of my life on social. I don't do that so much. Not because I've become more private or anything, but just because that content doesn't work. Work being generate reach for me to ultimately sustain my business. So I might share some bits on stories, but now Instagram is more of a, as an example, Instagram is more of a portfolio of my business than a diary of my life. And I think we've lost something in that. I think we've truly lost something in that. And so I think people who have been on the internet a long time still use Instagram as a diary of their life. So Kendra does that still. I don't know whether she's like super strategic about it. But I think if we're newer to sharing on social media, then you've learned to be more strategic with it.
It's your storefront.
So all of us millennials, we're just like, hey,
Here's my avocado toast with a filter.
Yeah, I'm going to put a Palmero filter on my avocado. Shall we start this actual podcast, Henry Blanchard?
We've started, we're in, but let's do some audience questions.
Okay, so the really lovely news is we actually have a burgeoning audience.
People have been sending more questions than before. It's
I
nice.
know.
We're now having to start to select questions like picking a football team in primary school.
Okay, so I'm going to do this question from Rebecca because I've written that down. And the question is, as AI makes us faster, how can we use it? There's 2 questions here. I'll ask both of them and we can both answer them because one's more of a me question. Okay. One's a question on burnout, which is, oh boy, does your girl know burnout? And one's more about how we can use AI to improve our judgment. So I'll just read the question directly. I'm over-explaining this, but as Rebecca, thank you for your considered, thought-out question. As AI makes us faster, how can we stop that extra capacity from just leading to more work and burnout? Let's definitely talk about that. And how do we use it for better judgment to make work more human and create space to learn and fail? Thank you for that beautiful question, Rebecca. Shall I start with the burnout?
You start with the burnout.
Okay, so I have noticed this about me. When I spend a lot of time in AI, so with code and like Claude Code is how I spend most of my time in AI, building little apps and things. Makes me brain weird.
It makes you're a bit weird afterwards.
I go a bit stressed.
You go a bit strange.
I go strange. And I think because it's like dopamine. Yes, I can do that. I've built it. Yes, I can do that. I've built it. Yes, I can do that. I've built it. And it's, I don't have to wait for a reply. I see the result immediately. And so I do think, and I've noticed this for you as well, like when you're like in your AI and you're working with your AI a lot, it is, it's like the technological, neurological dopamine hijacking of social media on steroids because you're getting exactly what you want. We're in the casino putting our pennies in and we're winning that pulley game. What
I can never remember the name of it either. The one-armed bandit.
The one-arm bandit, yeah. You're winning every time.
Yeah.
And then when
Every
it
time
doesn't work,
flashing lights and cool stuff's happening and the noises.
especially when you're using AI effectively, but then sometimes when it's not doing what you want it to, I'm like, oh my God, it's not doing what I wanted to. So I think our human relationship with AI is really messy and we're just getting started. Whoop, whoop. So I think it's a really thoughtful question from Rebecca. You know, we think that AI will help us get more done, and it will, but humans like to fill our time. So I've noticed using AI has triggered back some negative working traits of multitasking. Multitasking is a neurological myth. It doesn't exist. Our brains can't do more than one thing at a time. So I'd gotten good at just doing a thing, you know, moving through work, slow, steady, easy, like opening my laptop, doing that thing, tick it off, do the next thing, tick it off. None of this like clicky movie around work. But do you know what can multitask? Fucking AI.
Yes.
So now I'll set it on like 3 things, and now I'm like going, oh, well, has it done that yet? Has it done that yet? So it's brought about multitasking again. So I think what I'm going to experiment with is having chunks of AI work where I just do some one-on-one work.
Okay.
And then having chunks of like me working, which is an interesting thing that I'm even going to have to consider doing. Because what I don't want to do is get back into that fast brain, busy, noisy, multitasky kind of work where you're flipping between loads of different things because it's not good for us.
Yeah.
So I think if we are using AI, I think we need to actually just like when we give AI a task, particularly if we're using agents and they're going off and doing things for us, maybe we could just like walk away from our desk or sit and drink a cup of tea, stare out of the window.
Yeah.
I
Rather
think that's going to
open up a new chat window, like, right, what can I do next?
yeah, because I find myself getting excited by this huge amounts of what feels like huge amounts of capacity, but it's a bit janky in my brain.
Yeah.
So I think all of us need to think about that because I think using a lot of AI is just another extension of multitasking. And so I think we need to single task with our AI. So that's what I'm going to do. And I think we need to and at the moment AI can't fully be trusted, but it's getting, obviously what we talk about a lot is this is the worst AI will ever be. And so hopefully in the not too distant future, you'll be able to set it and forget it.
That's the dream.
And go and make a brew and read a book in the garden.
Do some planks while you're
Do
waiting.
some planks. Do some planks.
I think,
Oh, here we go. You've got a mischievous face.
to borrow a Gen Z expression, a generation that I'm very close to in age.
Sorry, I laughed too hard then. I laughed too hard and too real. I guffawed.
You did. You guffawed at the ludicrous notion that I could be within 2 generations of Gen Z.
I think we joke about this a lot, but you definitely have youth worker energy.
Oh, God.
You're the kind of guy that like sits on chairs backwards.
With a backwards baseball
With a
cap.
backwards baseball cap on. Is
I'm
like
relatable. So, how you feeling? Any relationship
You were
news?
a youth worker,
I was
weren't
a
you?
youth worker.
That's so sweet. You're such a kind man. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted you.
So, to borrow a Gen Z expression,
Yes.
I think we're cooked. I really do. I think
Oh, gosh.
unless you're really, really careful and disciplined, and I think we're in the time of like the least discipline of all, because discipline is attention and focus, and we're the least attentive and focused anyone in human history has ever been. Like you say, like you're in the middle of a fairground and everything's flashing at you and all the rides are making noise.
It's not our fault, it's our environment.
Yeah. It's nothing to do with the individual. It's just we're surrounded by screens and dopamine and infinite scrolls and now AI doing tasks for us. I think unless you're incredibly cognitively disciplined, we are in a pickle. And I think that's the most important skill you can cultivate now is, like if I'm setting my agent off to do something, I'm going to do a plank for a couple of minutes. I'm going to go and make a cup of tea. I'm going to stare out the window.
Really want to do those planks?
Desperate. My core.
I've literally
my middle-aged core.
I have never seen you just plank in your office.
No, because I don't have the cognitive discipline
You don't have
to do
the cognitive
so.
discipline.
We'll check in next week. I'll do some planks by then.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it's really worrisome. I do have one small suggestion for people. And we'll link it in the resources.
Companion
Companion
Workbook.
Toolkit Resources Workbook. The podcast homework, as we affectionately call it. There's an I have ADHD skill that I don't know if you've ever set your AI on a task and it comes back and like, okay, I did this and I did that and here's loads of text and bullet
when
points.
it's like lots of paragraphs and you just can't stop talking to me.
Yeah. So it tells you the skill, force it to tell you things one at a time. It uses numbered lists and it's very clear, like your next step is this.
Ugh.
Really, really useful. So I'll share it with you as well. That could be useful for you. I keep all the good stuff for myself.
You gatekeep.
I really do. So we'll put it in the resource companion podcast homework. So that's one way of tackling. That's the micro of how can we use AI better. I think AI's natural instinct, particularly at the moment, is to be quite verbose, a bit like I am now, quite verbose. And actually, but we can use tools like prompts and skills to focus its output a bit better. But I do think it's really, really important to have a bit of cognitive discipline because we're bombarded. And you see people...
Sorry, I've interrupted you.
Yeah, please.
Go on.
Okay, you see people in particularly Silicon Valley who are, not wanting to go to sleep because their agents are running really exciting things, or they're like, oh, my usage resets in a few hours, so I've got to get as many projects out of my head as I can to use up my remaining tokens before my usage limits reset. And if everything's moving so fast, so I've got to be moving fast as well. So there are these little trappings of what people are starting to refer to as AI psychosis.
Yeah.
And it comes in two flavors. One, like the AI is my friend, it's my best friend, it's my romantic partner. Or two, like I'm falling behind, I need to do everything, I need to jump around, multitask, be ultra productive. And I think we just need to be really, really, really aware that if your job now is turning into just making critical decisions all the time, like thinking hard is really hard.
Yeah.
And we're just loading and burdening ourselves with this. So yeah, go and do a plank, make your cup of tea, just step away from the screen. And I'm the worst for this. I've got like 2 laptops, 3
You're
screens.
cheeky for this, yeah.
Yeah. And you just feel yourself after
Your
a couple
office
of hours.
looks like fucking mission control.
Like, Houston, we've received an email. Set all our agents to answer it.
So I interrupted you because I had a
Please.
thought and I didn't want to forget it. I think the expression cognitive discipline feels mean, and it isn't. I know that's not your intention, but I think
it might be a bit. I think I'm trying to crack the whip on myself,
on yourself,
and everyone else. But we often give the advice we need to hear the most.
Yeah.
And I think if you are being, as I said, bombarded by everything all the time, you need to be stronger.
Oh, I just totally, it's so interesting because I so disagree. I think if you're being bombarded by everything all the time, you need to be softer.
Well, kinder or gentler.
Gentler, kind of. Boys and girls.
Boys and girls. Boys and girls.
Yeah, so I think for some listeners, the expression cognitive discipline, you've got to be like, fucking, what's that, Goggins? What's his name? David Goggins. Take control of your destiny. Like,
run 100 miles barefoot, then talk to your agents.
Yeah, for some people that actually might really resonate as an expression and as a strategy. But for me, I would just reject the concept of...
Oh, yeah. If anyone tried to cognitively discipline you, I'm out, Chief.
Yeah, I'm
out.
You're not cognitively disciplined.
This isn't the BDSM club I signed up for.
So I also think there's something around, I think for a lot of... And maybe this is a bit... lame to talk about things generationally and perhaps not true, but I can only speak from my experience and maybe what I'm culturally aware of. Us millennials have a lot of work guilt. And so I would challenge being more cognitively disciplined and actually be gentler with yourself and be like, fucking less, chill. Take it easy. Like, if you're using AI, I can get so much done just in terms of responding to my emails. I've got a nice example. So my speaking agent sent me an email with an opportunity and he wanted me to write a synopsis. And this is we've immediately moved into bot or not.
Let's do it. Let's do bot or not.
But or not. But or not. Tell me what's the plan.
Okay, we dropped into bot or not. Here we are.
Dropped into bot or not. Okay, so here's a bot. So my speaking agent, he's called Jamie, he's such a nice man, and he emailed me with an opportunity, and I saw the email come in, and it required a bit of thought because I had to think about the audience, I had to write a session synopsis, all of that stuff. And it's the kind of thing that normally, and it was time sensitive, that's worth saying. You know, they needed a reply tomorrow. I'm currently being very continental European and not really working over summer. I'm doing what I've pre-committed to, but I'm really trying to not work much this summer.
You're not chasing the NASDAQ bucks this summer.
No. I'm cooking, I'm relaxing, I'm chilling. And so this email came in, and this was a lovely bot because I was in the middle of cooking us some nice food, and I had that like thought of like, okay, well, just stop doing this and then just quickly go to your computer. It won't take you long. Like, open your laptop. You've got to get back to this. It's time sensitive. It's a nice opportunity. You don't want to let Jamie down. I have huge amounts of work integrity. I like that about me. I want to do a good job for my clients. I won't let my clients down. I want to be easy to work with, responsive, all of those things that I think make a successful business that aren't glamorous and sexy. But it's why I've been successful.
Yeah.
I will reply to you quickly.
Yeah, you've mastered the basics.
I've mastered the bloody basics.
Which sounds almost like offensive, but a lot of the time it is the basics that separate people.
I'm just really easy to work with. And I think that goes a very long way.
Mm.
And so I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to reply to this. And then I thought, Kirsty, you don't actually have to reply to this, do you? Because your Claude is connected to your calendar and your Gmail, and it has your book, and it has every training session you've ever done, and you've got a project built in Claude that has all of your like sessions that you run and deliver and all of your session synopses, and it can access your emails. So I opened my phone and I voice noted, and I was like, yo, look at the latest email from Jamie, draft me a reply, you know what, use your like information of me, the knowledge you've got, use just this like small language model I've built of my stuff. And then it bloody did it, and I didn't have to stop cooking.
You didn't have to stop you cooking. And how does that feel? Maybe even if you could talk to the burnt out Kirsty in like 2019, who's in hospital with an EEG on her chest.
Yeah.
ECG. What would she feel about that?
Yeah, so for anyone who maybe doesn't know my story, the reason I used to run an agency, and the reason I don't run an agency anymore, is I was poorly. I got ill, like physically, physiologically ill, not just from work. I was in like a unhappy marriage. There was a lot of financial strain on me at that time. I was having to pay lots of staff and also maintain a lifestyle that it was just a really difficult time, and I got covered in this rash. I ended up in a clinic having lots of tests on my heart because I was having daily panic attacks. But I thought, I didn't think I was stressed, you know, because I come from a family of bloody grafters, don't I? You know, I said to my mom, oh my God, okay, you can tell this story.
Yeah, so your mum's there, like, and your parents are a bit older, they're a bit more frail, so they're kind of there looking, bless them, a bit infirm.
Oh,
and so she's in bed, and you say to her, oh, you know, what I've done is I've decided to take 6 weeks a bit slower this summer. You know, I'm going to meet my clients' obligations.
Yep.
But I'm not out there madly chasing new work. I'm not madly doing stuff. And she said, I didn't raise any daughter of mine to be a lollygagger. 6 bloody weeks.
I didn't raise you to be a lollygagger. Yeah, I come from a family of hard workers.
Well, your granddad was down the mines.
My granddad was a miner
Like
his whole life.
The whole of that 2 generations up they were miners.
They were miners. They were in the
grafting
pits.
coal mines, yeah.
And they would, yeah. And so for me, when I'm like, oh, I've got to do a job I love and get paid handsomely for it, I thought it was obscene to get stressed. And my granddad was still alive at this point, by the way, you know, Sid. And his every day was waking up and going down the pits in the pitch black darkness and getting fucking emphysema and TB and doing it in the war and all of this stuff. And so if burnt out me could see me now. Do you know what? It actually felt quite similar because in 2019, I had a big team.
Mm.
And so often I would just fire off a message and be like, hey, can you do that for me?
Yeah, okay.
So it's that energy.
So we're back to that, like, whoa, I'm multitasking. I'm managing lots of different things.
I made a joke once that I'd reached a point when I was running the agency because the team were good. I was the failure point in that business, genuinely, actually. The team were amazing. And I made a joke once that I'd got to the point in running a business that it was my job to just quickly and manically reply thank you in all caps to every email. Like that was... I wasn't a failure point in that business in terms of I would bring the money in.
Yeah.
I would bring in the clients, I would bring in the money, but everything else got in the way. So I think now...
Can you review this proposal document?
Yeah. So I think now you can use AI almost as like a little teammate.
Yeah.
And so... I think maybe we've answered Rebecca's question.
Nice. I think we have. Shall we do the draft?
Let's do the draft. Okay, we've got...
The draft.
Okay, so let's do... Okay. Shall we do... So I like to try and keep these like work-related-ish, to kind of give some semblance of what we're doing here.
Yeah. And I'm like, top 3 vegetables. Let's go.
So I think this is kind of work-related-ish in the sense that, you know, today we've been talking about burnout. Oh my God, I've got an idea. Okay,
Yeah.
we've been talking about burnout and working hard.
Best types of psychological workplace disorders.
Henry. I think... Do you know a family that works hard?
Your family? Kardashians.
I think we should drop the Kardashian.
Oh my God.
Okay, there's a reason that we're suddenly so excited. The Kardashian. Okay, so this time last year, or in the winter, so last winter, I was traveling all over.
Yeah.
I was, in Madrid. I remember one week I was in Madrid, Milan, and then Finland.
Yes.
Or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
All in a week.
Yeah, you were moving around.
I was moving around and I was making bank. That's what I love to do. I like making money. I won't say no to that. Ever. Should probably work on that.
One of the first things you ever told me was you feel like you have a moral obligation to take the money if it's offered.
I do. Like, again, kind of echoing back to what we spoke about before, I'm the first woman in my entire female lineage that had any capacity to make any choice over my own existence. You know, my mum is smart,
Yeah,
isn't she?
Yeah.
And she's like smart and energetic and charismatic. I get a lot of my energy from Val. I get my chill from my dad.
He don't give a shit.
He don't give a shit. What a lad. But yeah, but she wasn't able to do anything with that. She was a miner's daughter. She didn't have the opportunity to have an education. She had to work. She had to get straight to work to feed the other siblings.
Yes, she did, didn't she? Yeah, she was like the caregiver.
Breadwinner.
She was the breadwinner.
We're not uncommon in those kind of families. And then
So weren't they in like a 2 up, 2 down with her brother and her sister, the cousins as well? Like everyone was sleeping in the same bed. It was like poor, proper.
yeah.
Well, like we say poverty now, but like a lot of people in the 40s, 50s in the UK, like particularly in the north, like just grew up in that. That was what
Just grew up in
what
that.
you did. So miners' towns.
Yeah, no hot water, no bath. The
toilet was out in the
outside.
garden. Yeah.
Toilet was in the garden. So she had to work and then she had a load of kids. And when my mum and dad married, my mum, because again, she's smart and charismatic and zippy, she ended up working in the hospital as like she uses the word biochemist. I'm not sure how.
She was there saving lives.
She literally said she saved lives.
I was saving lives, left, right and centre.
Saving lives. But she was like doing analysis on blood.
It's like phlebotomy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like a pretty, this is the 60s when you didn't, they'd let anyone in. But what was my point?
That she didn't have financial social independence.
So she actually did all right because she used to work on call. And if you work, so she would go at 2 a.m. or whatever. She was always on call. You get paid well for being on call.
Yeah.
And my dad started his career also in the pits, in the mines.
Yeah.
Not in the mines, but like in that industry.
Yeah.
And so my mum earned more than my dad at first by quite a way. But my mum wasn't allowed to get a credit card because women were considered bad debt.
Yes.
This is not that long ago. And so
and then like her husband would have to sign off on her like
Yes.
getting a bank account and just like
Yes.
crazy stuff like that.
absolutely fogged.
Yeah.
And so I'm suddenly a girl with all of these brothers and a mother and a grandmother and a nan and all these women in my family that have all been intelligent, smart, charismatic women who were hemmed in by society. I have the opportunity to fly to New York on a whim.
Yeah.
I have the opportunity to make money. And I also really feel this passionately, that if the good people in the world, the people who are kind and empathetic, if we go out and like make a shit ton of cash, then we have more power and we're more resourced.
Yeah.
And so I do think I have a moral obligation because I know that when I am resourced, I do good things with my money.
Yeah.
Good, ethical, considered
Yeah.
things with my cash.
Yeah,
I
you do.
fund good things. So, yes, I do think that. We were doing the draft.
We're doing the draft, and we were doing the draft because you were earning a load of money. You were going out there, moral obligation, big companies wanted to give you money, and you said, I'm going to work hard for that money.
Yeah.
But in between, you needed some radical rest. You needed to really switch your brain off. And we don't anymore. We have had a very large TV in our living room. And we're both like a moth to a light at night.
If the telly's there, I'm watching it.
Oh yeah. So and we're both if the TV's on, like, you know, you'll notice both our attention will stray towards it.
Yeah.
So I got sucked into this chasm.
Look, this
as
is a
well.
long way of saying I'd never watched the Kardashians. Last winter, I went deep and watched the whole thing. All the seasons. All of them. Not keeping up with, that's too, but like from when it became the Kardashians. I started watching it and I kind of watched it as like a curiosity. Like it just came up and I watched it as a curiosity. And pretty quickly I was like, okay, I like watching this, but also I like them.
Yeah.
I like their dynamic. So we are going to draft the Kardashians. Now, if you don't
Kardashians.
know the Kardashians, if you've not listened or watched the Kardashians, I think it's still fine. I think this will still kind of make some semblance of sense. I got some feedback at said wedding we were at on Saturday.
Yeah.
One of your friends, Andrew,
Go on.
said that I was too harsh to you in the draft. And he was like he'd had a couple of beers and he was actually, it was very sweet because his energy was really like he was defending you and pulling me aside. He was like, you're mean to him in the draft.
Quite.
So I will be gracious and please, Lord of the Draft, go first.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew. I do feel like I've been unfairly slighted for my draft choices. Okay, so how this is going to work, the Kardashians are a family, a matriarchal head of the family, plus lots and lots and lots of kids and siblings and children running around, and we're going to draft them one by one.
Yes, you get to pick them.
I am going to pick first.
I know who you're going to do.
Do
Oh, do I?
I'm going to pick Kris Jenner,
Of course you are.
the mother, matriarch, family scion
Mm-hmm.
of the Kardashians.
Yeah,
Just hardworking woman.
she's good, isn't she?
Married to O.J. Simpson's trial lawyer.
Yep.
Which is kind of how they got a slight touch of exposure.
They
to
knew the
Americans.
Hiltons, yeah.
Yeah, they knew the Hiltons. And then he died, I believe, and
Yep.
she remarried Caitlyn Jenner, who was then Bruce Jenner, a US Olympian.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly their family started getting in the public eye in the way that sometimes families just do. It was kind of the it girl generation, like 2004, 2005.
What-
Anyway, she's this incredible woman who's kind of puppet stringed
She
the
has-
entire family
Yeah.
into incredible fame and fortune and just works really hard. And I just admire that. I just think it's cool.
That I think it's very admirable. And this is actually what I like about the Kardashians. But my next pick, you're going to be jealous.
Go on.
I'm obviously picking Kim
Of course.
because everyone, the law, the Kardashians' law, is that everyone attributes Kris to like puppeting and creating their success, but it was actually Kim.
Well, this is what happens when I haven't gone as deep as you. Okay, tell us.
I have huge, and okay, so there are the Kardashians, there's some ethical question marks around like the beauty standards they create and their relationship with being influencers. But I think I like to see successful women go fucking get it.
Yeah.
And Kim Kardashian is crushing. She has so many successful businesses. She went into the White House. And
Is this the good White House, the bad White House?
what do you mean?
As in Biden or Trump?
Biden.
Okay. Good White House.
I know, somebody on that. So when Biden, so she had a meeting with Biden, I believe, or at very least Biden's team. And
This the criminal justice stuff.
something like that, yeah. But the thing that's so interesting is she had this very phenomenally senior meeting wearing thigh-high patent leather boots and a bra. Like the fucking work that Kim Kardashian has done to allow women to be sexual and successful. Because I get a lot of questions, and we've spoken about it before on the podcast. Am I allowed to wear this? Am I allowed to have my shoulders out? And I will always say Kim Kardashian's broken barriers for this.
Yeah.
She is successful, accomplished, and overtly sexual. And very beautiful and very glamorous. And I don't think women have historically allowed to be all of those things. And I think a lot of people who maybe haven't watched the Kardashians or don't like the Kardashians, very justified. But I think a lot of people would still label them as vacuous.
Yeah.
And then, at least from what they're creating in their businesses, they're very successful and very strategic and very smart. So you got Chris, I've got Kim. Okay, this is where it gets interesting.
Okay, so now we're into the lesser Kardashians.
No, you cannot.
The less famous. Well,
are you kidding? There's another Kardashian.
Well, no, I know. Well, maybe let me cook.
Okay, let him cook. Let
me cook. Let me cook. So I'm going to pick Kylie.
I think isn't Kylie like the...
She's the beauty one. She has the beauty brand.
Youngest self-made billionaire?
She was the youngest self-made billionaire. Now that title was passed over to the co-founder of Kalshi, the prediction market. So it went Kylie Jenner, then Sarah Gu. I hope I'm pronouncing it. I've never heard anyone say it. I've only read the name, but Guo, Sarah Gu, who was the co-founder of Scale AI, who were then acquired by Meta for $14 billion. So she became the youngest.
What was her name?
Sarah Gu.
Sarah, go get it, Sarah.
Go get it, Sarah. And then it's a lady whose name I don't remember again.
And is this just the women, or is this all self-made billionaires?
No, this is self-made billionaire women.
Okay,
I think. But all of them are pretty young, so it might just be self-made billionaires, full stop. And then it was the co-founder of Kalshi, which is a prediction market, just like Polymarket. Some people might have heard of it. It's like a new way of betting that's slightly more legal in the US to get around the loopholes of gambling being bad. So they're like, what if we called it a prediction market and you predicted what would happen rather than bet on it, but you also put money on it? Anyway.
I also quite like that. Sorry, I interrupted you again.
Go for it.
I'm excited.
Yeah, we're
I'm
excited.
excited.
We got stuff. There's stuff happening here.
I really so Kylie Jenner's often cited as like one of the youngest self-made billionaires. And I watched an interview with her where she was like, I can't claim that this is like self-made. I was on the TV. Like I had, there was certainly a head start. Like I can't imagine that, Kylie Jenner was scrabbling around to get distribution in the way that so many other business owners are. But I think what people tend to do is see success stories of women and find reasons that they're not actually successful. So let's not do that.
Yeah,
You've got Kylie.
Nice. I've got Kylie because I think, again, like anyone who builds a business to be $1 billion brand, like that's hard, even if you're just the figurehead. And I'm not in any way suggesting she is, but the criticism that you can accuse like famous people of being like, oh, like, you're just the figurehead. Like it's hard work being the figurehead. Like you know how hard the Queen used to work. She used to 14-hour days, 7 days a week, 364 days a year.
Yeah,
like you're just going place to place and being a face in a brand, and that's exhausting. Like it's exhausting to always be on. So love that she's out there just working hard, turning up for a brand. And I was very unfamiliar with the Kardashians, and the first I ever heard about Kylie was some of her fans were doing a GoFundMe when she was on like 980 million net worth. They were doing a GoFundMe to get her to be like, oh, she's going to be the youngest female billionaire, but we've got to help her get there fast. So people were donating, and I just thought that was so interesting. Just so interesting why people do things and why people support things. And I thought it's the same as like when people will contribute to like a crowdfunder to buy their football club, but they won't, it's like, oh, you own this sort of share that's very ceremonial. It's like you own a ceremonial share of this football club that you've donated £1,000 to, but you don't own it. You don't have any right to profits, etc. And I just think it's like that. Like we want to support things. We want to be fans of things and we want to feel part of the club. And I just thought, wow, like, isn't that interesting that she had people support her that much?
I also think it's like very ethically nuanced and messy, like AI, that basically she built one of her brands, at least, by she got lots of filler in her lips and she has these like luscious thick lips and launched a lip kit, as in to be like, if you use right? She's like, if you use this lip liner, your lips could look like me, which again is so morally messy because now it's kind of warped. And they actually talk about this. Kylie Jenner talks a lot about worrying about the beauty standards she's set, and rightly so. Like, can we sleep at night if we've done that? And it's just so interesting. It's like with OnlyFans. I'm pretty pro OnlyFans, and I'm very pro like ethical, consenting, women choosing OnlyFans or sex work because I'm pro women. I'm just pro them.
Yeah.
I'm pro women doing things, making money, getting that bag. And so I think there are lots of different ways up the same mountain. And so in terms of watching women succeed, I don't think I would have done it in the way that Kylie Jenner would, but I can still admire the effort. Okay, so you've got Kylie.
Yeah.
Oh, I cannot believe you didn't pick Courtney. No, I don't mean Courtney. I don't mean Courtney. Courtney's probably... So I'm picking Chloe next.
Yes. She's a vibe.
Chloe's been through a lot. She's a vibe. She's like the emotional glue that holds them together. Also, very good businesswoman.
Who's the emotional glue that holds your family together?
You know that it's me.
Just 4 cold brothers. The sweary matriarch.
Also, I think it's so interesting, and we've spoken about this before. I think part of the reason that they're successful is they all begin with a K.
Oh, yeah.
It's memorable. Like,
definitely. Like, we really overcomplicate things sometimes, I think, with marketing and brand building and business building. Like, the hardest thing is to be memorable. A study that I quote a lot to my students is if you live in a major city, you are bombarded between 5,000 and 10,000 branding and advertising messages every day, from like the logo on your pen to a billboard you see to the logos, even the logos on cars. Like every car that drives past is proudly proclaiming, like, I'm a Skoda, buy me. I'm a BMW, buy me. Look at my badge, look at my branding. So we're bombarded by this stuff. So one of the hardest things to do is have a simple, memorable message. And it's like, oh, look, it's the family whose names all begin with K.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah. Okay. Who's next?
You've got Chloe.
I've got Kim and Chloe.
I've got Chris.
And Kylie. I think that's a very strong pick for you.
It's a strong pick. Can I land the plane?
Have you forgotten the rest of them?
No. I kind of want to go with Rob. So if you're not familiar with the Kardashian cinematic universe, Rob is like
the guy, the dude.
Just the derpy brother who's occasionally on screen being like, I'm not so interested in being famous.
He was in the earlier ones, I think, that we've not watched, and then he was just like tapped out.
Okay, we haven't gone too deep on the Kardashian wiki to know this.
Okay, you've got Rob, and then lastly,
I
am going to go for... I am actually going to go for Kendall.
She's the model. She's the model. Nice.
She just seems chill. Chill, normal, kind of. Neither of us have picked Courtney, which I think is fair.
It's fair. I think that's fair.
Courtney's a vibe.
She just seems kind of like a normal...
She doesn't want it, She doesn't want to be picked. She doesn't want to be picked.
She's not giving pick me energy.
No.
Okay, so I've got Chris.
Yep.
Kylie.
Yep. And Rob. I've got Kim, Courtney, and Kendall. So any Kardashian fans, who won?
It's close.
It's close.
I think it's close.
I like this podcast. We've been very feminist, I think, on this podcast. You could be one of those guys that starts reading feminist literature.
Or have a t-shirt like, I am feminist.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for. I'd like to finish on a higher note than me slacking on feminists.
I don't think we're slagging on feminists. There is a real, for any women who've ever been single or on like a single dating app, there is a whole thing of men who will like read feminist literature or wear feminist t-shirts, not because they're interested, but because it like makes them seem all like kind of,
I'm
you're like
in touch with my emotions.
I'm like thoughtful and like I'm
You can trust me. I'm a feminist.
I'm an ally. And like maybe they are,
Yeah.
but it also seems
it's like no man would be conniving on a dating app.
surely not.
So it's all take it
either
at face value.
Men holding fish or men reading books on third wave feminism. That's all you've got.
I'll do both. I just have a man who do both.
Get a man who can do both.
Okay, thank you, Kardashians.
Thank you, Kardashians. Thank you, Henry Blanchard.
Thank you,
and
Kirsty Hulse.
thank you, listeners. This has been a long one.
Long one. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Talk, work it to me.